crying otherwise. The most incredible person I've ever met. Why? She's funny, she's intelligent, she's very strong-willed, she's very determined, but most of all, she said yes when I asked her to marry me. Superlative societal. Fiona and I really do share everything. We live together, we work together, and we're building our future together. I sound Tony Blair now. What's wrong with that, indeed? We really are remarkably compatible and we complement each other perfectly. They say a good team is more than the sum of its parts. Hello. and that really does sum us up perfectly. I just can't hear me. Fiona, you are indeed my best friend, and the only thing that makes me happier than being stood here with you today is knowing that I'll be stood beside you for the rest of our lives. However, this is a lifetime commitment, and it is something that we will undoubtedly have to work very, very hard at. Now, we have obviously been practicing for a while. This was a civil ceremony after all. One of the things that I've learnt is that compromise is very, very important in a successful relationship. Now, I am sure that it has, as pointed out now twice, escaped no one's attention that I am sitting at a table called McCoy's. This was, of course, a compromise. I got to pick the other table names, and Fiona got to pick this one. Fiona is very good at compromising, which is why I'm sure she won't mind this. This is my compromise. Before I hand over to Mr. Smith and challenge him to do his worst, I should probably thank him for agreeing to be my best man. Stuart and myself share something truly dreadful in common. We both derive a strange satisfaction from watching Scotland play international football. Along with several other sufferers out there, you know who you are, you afflicted lot. We take pleasure in the lows, the setbacks, the defeat snatched from the jaws of victory. When you've seen a man's spirit bowed but not broken by a Robert Earnshaw hat-trick in 60 minutes, en route to a 4-0 victory, you know that you have a guy with the strength of character that can be your best man. I'd also like to thank, of course, my ushers, but first, I've just skipped past a present. Again, this present we didn't rehearse it. Fiona, can I get Stuart's present, please? Stuart, this is a very, very small token of my appreciation, and I believe everyone's appreciation here. You really have made a very positive impression. And I think you deserve a round of applause. Where was I? Yes, the ushers. Dave, Gareth, Grant, Colin and Gregor. In the words of Hanson, that was a textbook display of top quality ushering. Colin in particular, by agreeing to remain sober last night, you have broken a habit of a lifetime. I'm sure by the thought of your face, you're well en route to making up for it tonight. And I look forward to seeing you swimming later on. Fiona, I believe you have presents. I'm coming with you. Oh, goodness, you're everywhere. Right, from the ogres to the fairy princesses. Our beautiful flower girls did us so proud today. They did a wonderful job of petal scattering. It really was absolutely tremendous. I think they deserve their presents. had seen them down the beach earlier playing in the sand in the dresses. It was absolutely adorable, it really was. So well done. Right, and of course, who could have failed to notice our bridesmaids? Now, myself and Fiona compromised on what I could say here as well. I had to be complimentary, but not too complimentary. So, in Fiona's words, Barry, Claire, and Sarah, thank you for looking so reasonable. Sarah, in addition to being a wonderful bridesmaid, can I thank you for being the best sister in the world? We had a wonderful time growing up together, what with the banister abseiling, the door frame climbing, and the permanent sport in the back garden. I've always been so proud of you, what with your better exam results, international sporting career, and I now look on with absolute awe as you develop your career as a doctor, and I am just so very proud. Ladies and gentlemen, as tradition demands, I'd ask you to charge your glasses. Join me in a toast to the bridesmaids. The bridesmaids. Okay, oh no, not quite. Not quite. I want to finish and I finished. Everyone sit down, Lastly, I would of course, and not leastly of course, I would like to thank everyone for coming here to Coll to share this wonderful day with us. On behalf of my wife and I had to get that in somewhere. Can I just say how grateful we are for your kind gifts? You were far too generous, but we appreciate it greatly, and pawning them will help to pay for some of this, so thank you. There are sadly some people that can't be with us today. Fiona's grandparents lived in Coll for a long time, all their lives. I would have been thrilled that we chose to get married here. Her nan and pop would also have been so proud to see her looking so beautiful in a wedding dress. And on my side, I miss my nan and papa and my grandpa so dreadfully, but I'm just delighted that my gran is with us today. I would just say one thing, boys, I would be warned. My gran and my Aunt Susan will be dancing later, and you better be asking. Okay, that's me done. So we'll be trying to get round to everyone, but if we don't see you, just thanks again for coming, and I hope you have a really good night and enjoy yourselves. Cheers.
Let's go fair in the back here.
Thank you, Ian. Craig, I expected you to say some nice things about you, and a nice speech about you in return, but I'm really Larson stuff. Slightly abridged copy, which I'll make up as I go along. I think my first official toast should be to reply on behalf of the bridesmaids, despite the somewhat faint praise. I think we know what Craig and Fiona really think. Sarah, Barry, and Claire were looking lovely and obviously helped Fiona out a lot today. So. And also the girls, Polly, Mary, and Kirsten. I'd like to thank them. And not forgetting Fiona, of course, as well. I think there's not many single guys in the room, but I'm sure we're all very jealous of Craig because you're looking absolutely beautiful. I've been looking forward to this day probably for longer than Craig has. Despite his perhaps lack of organisation, it seems sometimes he likes to get things done far in advance. And he asked me to be his best man, probably getting on about 3 years ago now. And when I say asked me, the results of a drunken conversation one lunchtime in the Pandora public bar in Victoria Road.